Morning, good morning. It is Saturday morning, y'all. 8:30. Like I always say, I have been to the gym. I am pumped up because it's time for what? I am impact. It is so great to see you all on this Saturday morning. Thank you all for getting up. I know you could be resting and just kind of maybe looking at some TV, getting ready to start your Saturday morning, but you have chose to be with us, and so we greatly appreciate it. Hope y'all seen the show last week with Mr. Jeremy Nixon. What a powerful presentation that was. Wow, I was amazed. I even looked back at it again and wrote down some some notes from hearing him, his story, and what great things he's doing in the community. And y'all, we have another dynamic speaker this morning. Guest, y'all, it's going to be another impactful morning on I Am Impact. And with that being said, y'all, I introduce to you all Miss Bency Beals. Yeah.
Good
Good morning. Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning, Eric.
All right. It is great to see you and have you on the show. I'm so excited to talk with you and let the world kind of know who are you and what you're doing in the great Columbia and surrounding areas.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Yes. So I did cheat a little bit. I pulled up your bio. I see there's some great things. And but I first want to just ask you, man, um, who is Miss Benzy Beals?
Oh, wow. Don't start with the loaded question. Okay. So, man, Eric, I am honestly, I'm just an ordinary person out here trying to make a difference. That's it. That's all. To sum it up, that's all I'm doing. And I'm walking in my purpose now where I feel like I've been called from the Lord just to do what I do best, which is bring out the potential in people. And I've learned a lot about myself over the years. You know, I'm from Chicago, grew up there. I moved to the Columbia area, gosh, when I was 17. So years ago, went to USC and ended up getting with Verizon. I had a great career. I moved around a lot. I moved to, New York, Charlotte, the DC area, back to Chicago. And now I've been back here since 2022, started a business. And that's how you and I got connected and we met. And so throughout my career, I see all the pebbles that led me here, and I just think of it in a way of preparation and just preparing that God did in me to be who I am today so I can bring out the best in others. And so in a nutshell, that's who I am. I love to travel. I love my family. I moved here because my parents are here. They're getting older, wanted to be closer to them. And I love the Columbia area. As I said, I've lived in a lot of great places, but I've come to realize that I appreciate slowing it down a little bit. I think the Columbia community is the best place to start a business. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really honored to call Columbia home now.
Great to hear. So before we get into all the amazing things that you have done, accomplished, and are doing, you when we got together other day, a couple of days ago, you talked about being baptized in the Jordan. So can we start off with that right there? Can you tell us about that? How did that all come about?
Yeah, you know what? I was originally baptized at 9 years old. And so, I just fell in love with God at an early age. But a lot of life happened after 9 years old. Okay. That there's innocence there and there's a love that happens, but then life comes at you fast. And so, I've just been through a lot. I grew through a lot, and I wanted to rededicate my life to the Lord. And so I did a into the promised land 2-week trip into Israel, where we started in Egypt, Jordan, ended up in Israel. I went with my aunts and uncle, and we had an opportunity to go to the Jordan River. And I said, if we go there, I'm going to rebaptize. I'm going to get rebaptized. I just want to rededicate myself. And I had wanted to do that for so long, but I was just kind of like, how is that going to work? And the Lord presented the opportunity for me, and I got rebaptized, and it was just the most wonderful experience. I've got pictures. I've even got it on DVD. So, but it was a great experience.
Wow. That's amazing. I heard that. I was like, I got to ask a question. How did
So
that
you
all
got
come
that,
about?
huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. So you just mentioned some of the great things that you did. So when I was reading your bio, it said that you're a trainer, you're a speaker, you have over 20 years experience in multiple areas of leadership and development. I have some more stuff I'll share, but just kind of how did you get into that world of leadership and to do what you do, where the drive come from?
Yeah, I mean, I got into it. Listen, I'm always going to go back to where everything comes from is by the one who created you, right? And put all of your strengths in you. And so it's leadership isn't anything that I thought that I was. I never looked at myself and thought of myself as a leader or anything like that. I didn't even think I thought Verizon was just going to be a job for me until I, got my master's in social work and went to my real career. But of course, God always has a purpose ready for you. And so I knew day one that I wanted to be a trainer. You see somebody taking you through training, and I'm like, I want to be her. I also had a secondary education major. And so I wanted to be a teacher, all through high school and all of that. And I studied for it. But life comes at you fast, like I said. And I had, 2 kids, needed to make money, got married early, and started with my career at Verizon, ended up moving to New York and getting into sales, and got really good at it. And I wanted everybody else to get good at it too, and make those commissions. And so I naturally got into leadership by sharing the knowledge and helping others grow and helping others succeed. And even though I got into leadership, I still wanted to go into training. And so through networking, because you're not a network inside of an organization and outside of an organization, if you have your own business, networking is important. I have learned, and I became a sales trainer first. And then I ended up moving from New York to Charlotte as a customer service trainer. And there I was doing a lot of work with the frontline employees, and I would also do some work with leaders. And I realized that there was a gap when it comes to leadership, and everything rises and falls on leadership. There, I decided to really hone in on that and research that. I was coaching. I didn't realize I was coaching, but that's what I was doing. And then I decided to get my master's in organizational leadership. Since I was doing the work, I wanted to learn more about it. So I started creating programs, working with leaders, and we saw impact in the numbers just by working with leaders. VP ended up seeing that and asked if I would go to Maryland and do the same type of work, which I did. And I had a lot of fun doing it. I dove right in, started creating different things, coaching clinics, and everything was going really well. And then I had an opportunity to move back to my hometown of Chicago, and I got back into sales. And so I have done every level of sales that exists today, including sales leadership. And so now moving back in 2022 to South Carolina, I just felt like I had reached my ceiling when it came to being at Verizon and being in corporate. And I really felt called to do something on my own. And I really enjoyed helping people succeed, whether as a leader or as a trainer. At the root of it, that's what you're doing. You're helping people succeed. And in sales, I ended up coming back to Columbia, and I had a individual contributor role, very high level of sales, but I was contributing to my own pockets and not anybody else. And so I just felt like I wanted more. John Maxwell team, I had heard of them. And I ended up joining the John Maxwell team because I love John Maxwell. He's a man of faith, and I love the principles of leadership. That's how I lead, how I've always led, and got certified. And come 2023, I ended up getting laid off. And I had told God, you know how you plan with the God, and you tell God something and he's looking at you and laughing like, yeah, that's what you think. That was what I was thinking, where, when I have a certain amount of money in the bank, Lord, I'll start a business. And so then I get laid off, and he's like, no, you're going to start it when I say start it. And that's what happened in 2023. I started the business of, really, I was coaching and training, wasn't even thinking about speaking. Eric, I just wasn't. And I did a training for a school district, and she calls me 2 weeks later and says, hey, you need to do our keynote for our leadership conference. And I was like, I do keynotes now? Like, okay. But I'm taking it as God's giving me a nudge. And I took it on and prepared myself. I learned a lot. We all have our process and doing things. And so I just learn a little, I do a little, and you just keep going. And, and that's just what I've been doing. And it's been very rewarding. I'm just, following God. He's my business partner.
Wow.
I told somebody that today. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but God does. But I say that with a grain of salt because I do know a little bit of what I'm doing because he prepared me. In my corporate world, when you combine a lifetime of being in sales and a lifetime of coaching and leadership training, the best combination is a start a business, right? And so that's what happened, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm so happy right now, just living the dream.
So I got to ask this question, then I'll go back to some more leadership.
Okay.
How do you balance it all? Because you just saying, you leading, you've been, moving places, but you're a mom, you're a wife. How does that right now, and you following your purpose that God has given you? How do you balance it all? How are you able to okay, I know I need to do this, I know I need to do that. How does it all come together?
I'm very, very, very organized. I didn't even realize how organized I was until I started helping other people get organized. But you do have to be very organized. I'm very great at time management. For example, Eric, I'll give you an example. How many email do you have in your inbox right now? If I were to ask you, how many email?
Oh, do I have to say probably about 5,000?
Okay.
More.
Yeah. It is Saturday morning. And so yesterday, at the end of every Friday, and even during the day, I clean it out. I have about 5 in my inbox.
So you have 5, and all the busyness, you have 5.
Yes, I'll tell you why. You want to know my secret? And this is how I manage it all, because everything is on my calendar. Because to your point, I prioritize serving at church. That's on my calendar. I prioritize my small group. That's on my calendar. I prioritize what I have to do for Elijah. Elijah is my 5-year-old son. He also has autism, so he's got special needs, and I got to be on top of that more than I'm on top of anything else. That's color coded in purple, and my clients are color coded in green. But what I do is just to make sure you don't drop the ball, because we all learn from failure. Right? I want to show up for my clients, and one time dropping the ball on somebody, I will learn. And I started this philosophy that I saw somewhere, maybe Google, but it's a zero inbox philosophy. Okay. Because if I have 5,000 email in my inbox, where am I? What am I doing? So if I get an email, for example, I will look at it. I get an email from Chamber all the time. I'm a part of the Chamber of Commerce, and maybe there's an event I want to attend. I'll open the email, and either I do what it's asking me to do. So I'll go ahead and register, look at my calendar. I will delegate it and say, I want to go here. I don't have time. I'll send it to my team member. Hey, sign us up for this. I look at my calendar. I can't make it. Delete. Okay. Or maybe I want to research it a little bit more, and I'll delay it. So I'm automatically doing that now. And then when I'm done with something, I do store it. So I have labels on the left side. And so I have a label for impact. And you had a conference, I spoke there, you and I communicate. Any Eric and Bency impact communication goes in the impact folder, because I may need it, but I don't need it right now. And so right now it's just in the inbox. So I stay organized. I stay on top of that. I've just trained myself, and I have priorities. I prioritize my time where I get up. I don't have to be anywhere until usually 8:30. I'm getting up at 6, making sure I do my exercise, make sure I do my devotions, my prayer, my time with the family, and then I'm out. And when I'm out, I'm focused. So right now, I think what I have to balance a little bit is like today, after we, get on, it's Saturday, but I still got some things I want to do, on my computer, on my laptop. I have to get away from that. But when you just, when you're a business owner, you just keep creating, you have ideas, you got to put it down. I got to create this before I forget it. So I'm still working that out. But to answer your question, it's organization.
Yeah. So y'all got it. Y'all got it on a Saturday morning, and you got it for free. Organization. So if you are headed at starting a business, even in your life, this is why I feel I Am Impact is so important because these little tips help us to pursue the calling that God has put on all of our hearts. Because organization is a big thing, when it comes to business, when it comes to family, when it comes to marriage. I mean, across the board, if you really want to live the balanced and successful lifestyle, organization is going to be very key. And so now I got to go back and start deleting all them 5,000 emails that I have.
I ripped the Band-Aid off one day. I just, I'm like, you know what? I don't need any clear of my inbox. And it was like, oh my gosh, you feel like your heart is, but nothing's going to happen. You're okay. You don't need everything from 2025 at this point, so.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So when you were saying, another thing came to mind, like, just get started. So many times we, say we want to do, and we never just get started. I teach, just take the first step. Like, you were saying, not kind of knowing exactly what you were going to do. Kind of say, somebody say, hey, you're a keynote speaker. I'm like, what? I'm a keynote speaker. But because, and I don't want to talk for you, but kind of like, because you knew in the inside what God had called you to do, it made the difference. Say, okay, I'm willing to step out. Yeah. And
absolutely. Absolutely. And you can't just be willing, though. You have to be actionable. So one thing that I will share with you is, if people ask me like, oh, I want to be a speaker. And I'm like, oh, how often do you speak? Oh, I haven't spoken yet. You got to speak, even if it's for free, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, people want to write books. Okay. How many hours, how often do you write? Oh no, I'm going to do it. You got to start writing today. Yeah. It may not be your book, but it will be anecdotes of your book, right? Just pieces of it. So whatever it is that you want to do, you got to start doing it today.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. That's huge. Today, y'all, you got to start doing it today. Yeah. That is huge. So with that, motivation, what motivate? I mean, because I know we all, when we speaking, we're working with families and stuff, we get tired, but where does the motivation come? I know you said God, but can you kind of explain to us like where your motivation comes from?
Well, it comes from something you might know a little bit about, but impact, right? And so it really does. Like when you see someone connect the dots, and when you see someone step out and do what they feel like they've called to do, and you had a impact on that journey, that's motivating. And you want more of that, right? And so that's one part of it, is the impact that I feel like I can make in these areas. Like I know what I can do. But what's interesting is it was a big decision to step away from corporate and start a business. A huge decision. I never thought I was going to start a business. And it's hard to, because I could have easily got laid off, and I had people like, oh, Bency, I heard, come join us and come do this. And, those numbers were looking really, really good, but I had to put purpose over profit. And I realized that really quickly when I didn't feel that. I'm someone who has a strong work ethic, and I work at 150% every day or more. And so I felt like I wasn't giving what I would typically give. And I don't want myself to do that. And so when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I got to switch gears. So I think number one is I'm motivated every day because I know I'm doing what I was called to do. Yeah. I know it wasn't just somebody hired me and I think we can all do great at certain jobs, right? You could do great. I mean, there's a lot of things I'm good at, but is that what I'm called to do? Is that what my assignment is from God? So, when you know that you're doing what you were put on this earth to do, there's a different motivation that comes with that. Wow. There's accountability that comes with that. Wow. Not just in the work that you're putting out, but also in the growth that you're putting in. So I got to make sure that I'm reading, not just the word, because that's important, but also, here's a book I've got right here. It's called Crucial Conversations. I'm reading through that because I know that's something my clients have talked about and people need. People are scared to have hard conversations. And why is that? And breaking through that. And when they are ready to have a conversation, are they having the right conversation? Are they having the root of the problem or just symptoms of it? And so being able to fill myself with that knowledge consistently to be able to pour that back out is also alongside of equipping myself. And when in that process of equipping, I cannot wait to get it out. I cannot wait to tell people, like, it's like, oh man, everybody's got to know Jesus, or I'm one of those people, like if something really cool comes out and I buy it, my sister needs to have it. My brother needs to, when the air fryer came out, my brother had one from Amazon. My sister, like, y'all got to have this. Like, I am so excited of like giving gifts. My brother says I'm the best gift giver because I feel like you should have it.
Add me to the next one.
Yeah. but that's how I feel about all of this knowledge. It's like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to give. I cannot wait to do that class. Oh man, hire me, please, so I can give all of this to you. It's motivating when you have so much to give, but you have to have something to give. So I think it's really important for us to continue to, whatever it is that we're doing and whatever it is that we're specializing in and being experts on, you got to keep that saw sharpened. And so those are things that motivate me, just filling myself up. I have more to give and I got to get it out.
Wow. I mean, I have about like a million questions just off what you said. So so the one thing I was thinking about was, just talking about in the money perspective, that when you are pursuing purpose, money's out the window. It's like, I'm not worrying about the money. I'm pursuing what God has called me to do. And I tell that a lot when I'm speaking, that the walking away from the money aspect to pursue my purpose, I know God got me. So once I start doing what God asks and called me to do, all the other stuff will fall in place. The scripture that came to mind was when it said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all this righteousness, and then everything else will be added.
Yes. Ain't that the truth? Listen, it's a good word. It's a truth. And let me tell you something. If you do that, if you follow that recipe of putting purpose over profit, you want to know what the secret of that recipe is?
What's that?
Profit's going to come.
Yeah.
It's going to come. It's going to come more than you ever thought. Like whatever your goal was, I want to make this much. The Lord is like, you follow me, you be obedient to me. Don't follow the money, follow me and my purpose. The profit, like the profit's coming now. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. But don't forget to invest back in the kingdom when it does come.
Amen. Yeah. I know another thing when you said too, I always tell myself, sowing a seed, you will reap a harvest. Yeah. It's like, when you follow principles don't they don't lie. A principle will, if you do it, it will work. And so I was thinking with all the stuff that you're doing, holding the book up, the Crucial Conversation book, discipline has to play a big part as well in, for you to be successful in the things that you have been called to do. I wrote a quote. I said, purpose is not doing a lot of things, but is doing the one thing in perfection. Meaning, I'm following my purpose. I'm being disciplined. I'm doing what I know that I'm supposed to do. And with that right there, it opened doors. It's a lot, but it's not me doing multiple different things at the same time, if that makes sense.
It does. And I think to build upon that, I think there's a season to things, right? And so I think there's a season of, for an example, right now you're doing this podcast and this is going really, really great. And this is your one thing that you're getting really good at and all of that. But the next season, God might say, oh, I need you to take it up a notch. And I need you to do, you're going to do this show, or you're going to do this. You're going to be on stages. So I still feel like the thing that you're good at and that get great at it, because that's the stepping stone to the next thing.
Yeah. Wow. That's huge. That's huge. So how do you personally define success?
Oh man, how do I personally define success? Through my client success.
Wow.
Really, it's through my client success. I had a meeting this morning, 8:00 this morning with a client, and he was telling me, because I do business coaching as well. I provide business coaching as well. I love business coaching. And we co-created different areas of revenue based on his big vision and his goals. And he's gaining success. He's gaining momentum. He's getting clients. I wanted to cry. Like I was so happy for him. And I was so just excited for him, for his success. And so when those things happen, that's my success. Like his success is my success. And it's not always monetary. You know, I do a lot of coaching. And if it's someone who just has a mindset shift, who didn't think that they were enough and they weren't going to apply for that job, but then they applied for the job and they got the job. Oh my gosh, that's success, right? Just someone from going from one place to another. And I had just a small little impact on that. That's success.
Yes. Yeah. I agree totally with what you're saying. I remember being at church one, I think it was a Saturday morning or something. And a gentleman, he came up to me and he said, just thank you for the prayer that you gave me. The things that you said has started to manifest. And I want to thank you for that. And I'm looking back and I'm like, okay, first of all, I don't know what I said, to him, but praise God. And for me as well, that's the success. I think that people that really walk in their purpose see on the back end. It's not so much about what we get as a person, but what we see happen in other people's lives, the growth, the happiness, the healthiness that people have on the backside of what we do. And I mean, it's to me, it's a different feeling. It's like,
oh my
wow.
gosh.
Yeah.
Can I share something with you? And I hope it'll help somebody. Be bold. And I know this isn't, we're going in a faith direction now, just because it's that's just how we do, Eric. Okay. When God's people get together, it just happens. Okay. And so, but hopefully this will make people be bold in their faith at work. I was on a team at work at Verizon. If you know anything about me, you're going to know what I love. So you're going to know about my kids and you're going to know about my God. Right. And I just talk about it. I'm not trying to put him on you or anything. I just end up talking about it like, oh man, the Lord did this for me. The Lord did that for me. And so I didn't know the Lord like that, but loves that I do. Oh man. And she would be like, can you pray for this? Can you tell your mom to pray for this? Because I would always say that. Anyway, fast forward, we're still in contact, and she's been trying to have a baby for the last 5 years. Did in vitro 2 times, reached out, can you please pray? And I'm like, ooh, prayer. And in my prayer, I felt the Holy Spirit say, bring her into this. So I'm like, okay, well, how do I do that? I don't want to be too much. So what I did was, you know how many women in the Bible were barren? So I compiled a series. It was 10 days where she got the embryo in, and when she finds out that she's pregnant, 10 days. So I created 10 days of prayer, sent it to her. I didn't know how she was going to react. I'm like prayerfully sending it to her, and she wants to know more. Oh my gosh, what happened with them? And, and all of these things. Anyway, I am like having an Elijah moment, because I know this pregnancy thing can go one or two ways, right? So I'm like, Lord, I need you to show her who you are in all your power. Like, she didn't get pregnant any time before, but when she brings you into it, this is what's going to happen. And I was just adamant on that. And she calls me on that 10th day crying and sobbing, because the first time in her life she's pregnant.
Wow.
But that's not the awesome part about it. The awesome part about it is, just so happened the very next week I'm going to Chicago. So I'm like, oh, I got to get her a Bible. And this has got to be her start of her faith journey. So we meet, get her a Bible, a devotional. And 2 nights ago, she sends me a picture of her in the bed, Bible open, devotional. And when we were at dinner, and I gave her a children's, in the Bible, I had all these verses that I prayed over my children. And she was like, can you show me how to use this? Like, how do I go to Jeremiah? How do I do this? And so I show her the table of contents. And in that moment, I have never felt so, I guess you want to use the word success. You want to use the word blessed. You want to use I don't know what word can define that feeling of being able to show someone. Where did it start though? It started with just being who you are in the Lord boldly, right? And then, wow, I see who. And so I just want to share that, because all of us go to work and we have these beliefs and we feel like, you know what, we're not putting anything on anybody. You just got to be authentic in your faith. And this is what people need more than anything else. I've coached in Verizon and would have an intake form, and I would always put, Hey, are you open to having faith as part of the conversation? Even today, are you open? Nobody's ever told me no. So I just wanted to share that because I know you have an audience. And, when we lead others, the first people we have to lead is ourselves. The first person we have to lead is ourselves. And if we're following the great leader, Jesus, call upon him and help him guide you and help him lead you. I always say he's my business partner and he leads me. And what do you want me to have for this client, for this school district? What is it for them? And it comes from him.
Yeah, that's huge. And once again, just hearing your heart, hearing the passion behind it, that was one of the reasons I felt that God wanted me to start this podcast, because people need to hear these stories. People need to hear that, look, we have people that doing great things in leadership, speaking and going different places, but the foundation is on Christ. And not only the foundation on Christ, the mission is a selfless mission to help others define who they are. You are truly an example of impact because what you do go beyond Bency. It go beyond you, and fulfilling, all of your needs. It's saying, hey, you know what? I'm out there. I'm training, I'm helping people, but I'm actually giving people purpose. I'm actually getting other people to understand their identity so they can walk in their purpose. That is the impact. And I commend you for all that you do. And with that right there, you have so many accomplishments. Like I said, I've been YouTubing you and Facebook, and it's like, look, you are like you're doing it. I see at Howard University.
Mm-hmm.
Spoke there a while back.
We do we do a workshop there every June, and have a coaching relationship with their PharmD program.
Okay, you're in. I think you're in the school districts as well.
Yeah.
Okay. On the board of the Hive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I see where I look at maybe like recently. You was in Orangeburg training executive leaders for Chick-fil-A. My favorite.
Yeah. Our favorite place. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I can imagine. And then you have your annual Ignite conference every year. So you want to tell us about that right there? Your Ignite conference, when it's coming up? Yeah.
It's coming up on August 29th. It's a Thursday. And here's what's really exciting, because Live to Lead is a John Maxwell conference where he brings these amazing speakers to the stage and allows coaches like myself to license out that content and hold a conference in their own communities. And so I've been doing that for the past 3 years. This year, my business partner that I told you about has me going a different direction. So this year is going to be the first year that we are doing the Ignite Kingdom Leadership Conference. Yeah, it'll be a Live to Lead experience. So we're going to have Craig Rochelle, who's one of the Live to Lead leaders, will be speaking virtually, and just some other leaders in the community and a panel. And I'm just really, really excited about that.
Yeah. And so once again, what's the date for the
October 29th, Thursday, October 29th. It's going to be at R2I2 here in Northeast Columbia.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure that we air that closer to the date to get the word out as well for that. And y'all, I have been there. I have been to your conference twice, and I tell you, it has been dynamic. From the time you walk in to the time you leave, it's like it's upbeat. You excited. You're learning. I still have my notes. Yes. So yeah,
and that's where we met, Eric. We met at my conference. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So without closing, we want to give you the opportunity. I know you shared a little bit of your heart with our audience, but if you have one thing to say, one thing to share, if you we want you to just take a few minutes and just share your heart with our listeners, encourage them, and just share whatever that's on your heart.
Yeah. Well, listen, anybody who's listening and who's on the call right now on a Saturday morning, then that means that seriously though, that means that you are dedicated. It means that you have a growth mindset. It means that you want to learn. It means that you want more for yourself, more for your life, and you know that there's more inside of you. So if you're listening to me, that's already who you are. And you know what it is. more than likely, you know what it is that's been planted inside of you, and you need it to be pulled out. And so my encouragement to you is to lean into whatever that is and just start today. Like Eric and I was saying before, if you want to write a book, get out a notepad and start writing today. If you want to speak, find somewhere to speak. I don't care if you're starting a youth group or if you're young, if you're a small group, if you're older, you're speaking, you're learning, you're teaching, you're doing all the things. And so I just want to encourage you just to start. So many times, most of us, the majority of us, we're chasing perfection first. Oh, well, you know what? I need to read this book, or I need to learn how to write better, or I need to do this before. You do not need to do any of those things, because God has already brought you to it. He's going to get you through it. Whatever it is that he has put on your heart, I'm just encouraging you, go after it. Start today. Even if it means you're laying out a plan, you're putting it on paper. In your circle, there's someone that you know that you're watching on Facebook or that you are following that's already doing it. Reach out to them, reach out to a mentor, get some inspiration. Whatever you need to get yourself going, do it today. Don't just sign off on this podcast. Oh, that was good. That lady had some nice things to say. I like Eric. No. What does it mean for you? What are one or two things that we have talked about that really resonated with you? Write those things down and take action of what does it look like to be practically applied to your life, and just start somewhere. And if you're already doing it, then high five to you. Great job. That's wonderful. Share it with others. If there's a next step for you where you can elevate yourself, like being more present on social media, that was something for me last year that I needed to start and getting better at. I had to do it, even though it's not something that I wanted to do because I was shy. I had to break past that because I'm on assignment, remember? So whatever it is for you that you need to be doing, but you haven't started yet, do that thing. Get started, do that thing. Listen, it's already March. It's not the new year anymore. We at the end of the first quarter. We're about to start the second quarter. So we got to get going now. So start today.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. So you heard it from the great, the amazing Miss Bency Beals. We are so glad that you came on to the show. Thank you for all that you shared and kind of your vulnerability and what you're doing in our community. We appreciate you. Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure. Appreciate you too, Eric, and all that you're doing and making it happen in our community as well. We thank you for putting this together.
Yes. And to our great people that was up early this morning that could have been asleep but decided to watch our show, we appreciate you. Thank you for being on the show, as well as we want to give you an opportunity. So as always, we want you to like, subscribe. You can up in the corner, you will see our QR code. You can go there to link into our link tree to see all the wonderful things that we're doing in Impact, y'all. So it's probably about 9:30 now. I am looking at the clock. If you want to know a little bit more about purpose and how to walk in your purpose and how that look, we are having a class at the Richardson Library, 10 a.m. So you got a few minutes to get ready. You can come on out there. We're going to be on the second floor. We're talking about rediscovering purpose and how that look. We're going to do some life applications. So when you walk out of that class, you would know your plan and your purpose. So that start at 10 o'clock. So you can get dressed, meet me there. I'll be there in a little bit as well. But go to our LinkedIn page, see what we're doing in our community. If you have an impact story, we definitely want you to reach out to us because we want to hear your story. You can go to my Facebook page, my name, Eric Bowden, or you can go to my impact page, which is Impact on Facebook, or you can go to my YouTube page, which is Impact on the YouTube page as well. But we want to hear your stories. And once again, to the great Miss Bency Beals, we appreciate her from coming on to our show today. And next week, y'all, we will have Miss Tracy Ray. She is the founder of a nonprofit organization in Burgall, North Carolina. She'll be our next guest on our show, telling us about the great things that she's doing in her organization as well. So look forward to seeing y'all next Saturday, 8:30 a.m. on what? I Am Impact. Enjoy your morning. Enjoy your day. Great talking with you. Look forward to seeing you next week.